We're not going to go live on Clubhouse today. We're only going live exclusively on Facebook. And we're going to go live in the Business Owner Mastermind Facebook group as well as LinkedIn. So I'm Jay, that's David, and this is This Week in Digital. Thank you for watching. David, are you sure you don't want to go live on Clubhouse? Should I just do it while we're talking here or what?
If you want. Yeah, what the heck,
All right, we're going to go live on Clubhouse. Let's go live on Clubhouse. But while we're doing that, maybe, David, you can introduce today's topic.
Yes, absolutely. So today's topic is an interesting one. We are going to, and one that has been in the media for quite some time now, and we're going to be diving into the Apple iOS 14 update. And usually we get these updates for those that have Apple iPhones, and it's just a normal thing. Every few months, every year, whatever it is, Apple updates the iOS system, and we get a notification on our phone that it is time to upgrade. And usually it's just things on our iPhone that are updating, and they're improving bugs on and that sort of thing. But this update specifically has a major impact.
David,
on
hop on Clubhouse.
I'm going to.
Yeah, so we just opened up a room on Clubhouse. So if you are on Clubhouse, awesome. David joined in as well. For those listening on Clubhouse, we're live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're talking about the iOS 14 update and what you need to know. David, let me invite you up to the stage here on Clubhouse. Yep, there you go. Come on, join us. There we go. Perfect. It's to make you a moderator as well. Awesome. Anshu, how you doing? She's here on Clubhouse. We're gonna get to Clubhouse after. We're gonna get you up here chatting, but we're just live on Facebook here. Okay, David, go ahead.
Yep. So as I was saying, we're talking about the Apple iOS update, and this time, this is update number 14. It has a major impact on advertisers, online digital marketers. It's going to impact things quite heavily. So today, what I want to do is I want to break down what exactly is happening, what the purpose is, why it's happening, and what are some things that digital marketers can do to limit its impact for yourselves or for your clients.
You want to turn down the volume on your phone there, David, if you haven't yet?
It's down.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome.
So Apple's iOS 14 privacy policy will have 2 new requirements for apps that are on its app store, okay? So here are the 2 new requirements that Apple is including in the iOS 14 update. So apps must provide information about their data collection practices on their product page. So this is the page when you go to the App Store and you search an app and you click on that app, it has a page that details what the app does, what the app is, what the features of the app are. And so now on that page, these app owners will have to include how they're collecting your data. The second requirement that Apple is forcing is that apps will need to ask iOS users for their permission to track them across apps and websites owned by other companies. So this is the big one. Like it's literally going to ask a user when it goes to download a new app whether or not they consent or they agree to having that app track them across different websites. And it's interesting that the purpose of this update and why Apple is forcing these things is because they want to look to improve the trust of the App Store. They say that they're on a mission to, and I quote, make it a safe and trusted place for users to discover apps created by talented developers around the world. So the purpose of this is that they're trying to improve the trust of the App Store. And they provided a screenshot of what this exactly is going to look like in the article that I was reading. And for most of us, basically, when we go to download an app, we're going to be presented with a pop-up that says, blank app would like your permission to track you across apps and websites owned by other companies. Your data will be used to deliver personalized ads to you. And you literally have 2 buttons to click: allow tracking or ask app not to track. And so the biggest question here is, if you are presented with this pop-up, would you accept this invitation? Would you say allow tracking, or would you say ask app not to track?
So when you think about cookies, when you go to a website, it's the same thing as cookies, right? When you go to a website, typically you allow those cookies, but the reason for that is you trust usually that site that you're going to and accepting the cookies from. You know, if you go to Nike's website or Walmart or something like that, you're going to accept the cookies because they're they're a credible company. With this, my understanding is with this pop-up, it's kind of like, hey, do you want all these apps to follow you around and track your activities? And if so, say yes. You know, it's kind of, I don't like the way it's worded. You know what I mean? It's I think a lot of people are going to say, no, don't track me.
100% they are, because it is worded in a way to make it feel and sound like kind of like icky, like, no, I don't want, you know, Big Brother or all of these app owners to be tracking my every move across the internet. But because here's the thing, like before, like most of us knew this was happening. We knew that we were being tracked. We knew all of this was going on behind the scenes. Potentially our data was being sold to other companies. And that was ultimately how we were provided with such a relevant experience on platforms like Facebook. We knew it was happening, but we didn't really feel like we had any control over it. So no one really made a big fuss about it. But now with this new update, we have a choice. We're being presented with a choice. So we have control. And I think, like you said, most people are going to choose not to be tracked. And to be honest, I don't blame them. Like, you can still, I think, have a pretty relevant experience on platforms like Facebook without being tracked. And we'll go over that in a little bit. There's still ways that advertisers and digital marketers can do things to ensure that they're still building good audiences and they're still running relevant ads to people without them needing to necessarily be tracked.
So let's talk about that for 1 second. So when we're talking about the the actual tracking of that and the effect it's going to have on advertisers, right? So especially Facebook advertisers. It's not just Facebook. It's going to apply to tons of platforms, TikTok, LinkedIn. It's going to apply to them all because it's going to limit the ability you have to track those people that are actually purchasing your products as a marketer, or that are actually taking certain actions on your website or your app. And it's limiting the amount of data that's being fed back, is therefore limiting the amount of power a marketer has to get their ads in front of the right people. So that's kind of the elephant in the room that does need to be addressed here, is now how can marketers pivot? And from what I'm hearing is that Facebook is taking a proactive approach in ways in which we can still get that data from those potential clients that are purchasing products.
100%. They are, and they have been for quite some time, which is great, you know. But just to, like, sticking with Facebook for a second, how this impacts Facebook advertising, because you're right, like there's so many different ways to target and advertise on the platform. Not all are going to be affected by this update, but like one of the major placements that you can advertise on Facebook is what's called the audience network. And the audience network spans millions of apps, and it allows publishers to monetize those apps by serving up ads on the platform. So when you advertise on Facebook, if you choose to advertise on the audience network as a placement, your ad might appear on, I don't know, just some random app that you have on your phone, if it's part of the audience network.
Yeah, I've seen our ads on TikTok, and TikTok, little do you know, was a part of the audience network, right? There's tons of sites out there that you wouldn't even think of, and if those ads can follow that user around, much like Google AdWords, you know what I mean? Much like the way Google works in their remarketing.
Yeah.
Right? So
if you're choosing to advertise on the audience network, that is where you're going to see probably a major like impact.
In my experience of advertising, I'm not too worried about the audience network, because to be honest, a lot of times I exclude that because I don't find it performs really well. But if you're doing a brand awareness campaign and you want to get in front of those eyeballs on every place as much as possible, then this is definitely going to have an effect on you. But what's going to happen here is it's going to be supply and demand. It's limiting the amount of inventory that Facebook has to offer to its marketers. So therefore, the pricing for advertising on Facebook and Instagram is just going to increase without that inventory from the audience network.
It is, yeah. And that's one of the impacts you're probably going to see on Facebook with your advertising costs is you're going to see higher cost per results. You're going to definitely see a change in the performance data available for you to review. Also a change in conversion tracking, and then smaller custom audience sizes, right? Like if you're now not able to create custom audiences for certain segments of your target population, then you're going to have less people to go after.
Which actually puts more of an emphasis on one thing which is, still building those custom audiences around people that engage on your Instagram page and engage on your Facebook page, because Facebook has that control to control those audiences and the people that are taking those action on your ads. So there's going to be more emphasis on having strong engagement audiences, which can be a good thing. It just means you have to create a really good offer to get somebody to engage so you can retarget them, right? That's what I've already started doing to kind of get ahead of it, is just creating better engagement audiences. And, instead of targeting people that have engaged on your Facebook page in the last 365 days, creating audiences of people that have engaged on your content in the last 7 days. Yeah. Right. So doing things like that.
100%. That's great advice. And, the other thing to keep in mind here is usually when news like this comes out, it's always made to be a bigger deal than it actually is. Always. Now, don't get me wrong. There's definitely going to be a negative impact to your advertising, to your potential reach, to your costs, all that sort of stuff. But there's definitely ways in which that you can limit that. And you just brought up a few. So what I would focus on, like you said, Jay, is ensuring that you have a good offer in your ad, and that your content, your creative is scroll stopping. So continue to have a good offer and make sure that creative is really high quality and good. And you should limit your negative impact.
Absolutely. Awesome. Cool. Is there anything that with your research there, David, that marketers right now can do to avoid the hit?
So I think that the first important place to start would be to actually go into your Facebook ad manager and take a look at the campaigns that you're running and the data, and actually look at the breakdown of the people that are engaging with your content and with your ads. How many of those users are on Apple iOS devices, and how many of those users are on Android devices? Because it might not actually be as big of an audience as you think. Now, a lot of people have Apple devices, but from my understanding, it's not as big as the Android community. There's more people out there with Android devices. So definitely take a look at that. Go into your analytics and your ads manager, take a look at what that breakdown currently is, and then assess and go from there would be my suggestion.
Cool. Awesome. If anybody has any questions, you know where to reach us. If you're on the Merge Media Facebook page, just go click send a message there. If you're on the Business Owner Mastermind group, you can hit myself or David up with a question. If you want to know how the Apple iOS update directly affects your business, we'd love to talk to you. On LinkedIn, hit me up as well, or you can hit up David. Okay. Anything else you want to add, David, or are we good?
We're good. Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens with this. Usually when iOS updates come, you have a choice, either update or not to update. But then I think there's a point in time where Apple will just force you to update your phone. So I haven't seen anything yet. I'm not sure this is rolled out, but yeah, curious to see what happens.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. We got an exciting podcast episode coming up on Tuesday where we spoke with Atai Paz about email marketing. Make sure you go and check that out this coming Tuesday. You got to work on your sign off, buddy.
Dude, you were frozen that entire time. Yeah, you still are. I feel like I'm speaking to myself right now. All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll do 2 sign-offs because I heard Jay do his, but I'm going to do mine now. So take care until next week. We'll